Alright, well the weather's finally getting nice out. It's starting to get into the 70s, so I'm going to go ahead and do this headliner. Now, my plan here is, since I don't have a helper, I'm going to use these clamps here to hold this side down so I don't pull it too far. And I've got a piece of window trim actually taped to this so I can hold up the whole sheet by myself and work it down that way. So, this isn't my first time doing this. I did this on the last Ute build, so I just got to do it by myself, and hopefully it turns out good. So, let's get on it. I think we're done with that. It's all laid down nice and even. Of course, it's covered in all these, directional fingerprints, but those will all wipe out. And then there's a little bit of dirt on it, but overall not bad. All the corners are good and tucked in. None of those are peeling up or anything. So, okay, that one is a little bit. I'll stick that back down. But other than that, it's pretty solid. Flip it over here. See, these are all cut out and tucked. Got the very few relief cuts it needed, just a couple like around here. Overall, not bad. I'm gonna let it cure for a day, then I'll install it and go ahead and put all the interior pieces back in, which you can kind of see over there. So, yep, one more thing off the list. All right, so did a little more off-camera work because it's kind of a pain to put all this in and record it. So all the pillows are in, the headliner's in, seats are back in. And also added this because tickets are dumb. So getting closer. So anyways, now that the interior is done, I moved on to the brakes. Luckily the rotors were in pretty good shape because they're pretty expensive to import. So I just cleaned the rust off these and reused them. I did have to replace the pads though because they were definitely bad. So you can see me doing that here. These calipers are actually AP Racing calipers, they're not Brembos, although they're built pretty much the same way, and servicing them is very easy, as you can see. Now, the one thing I don't have an answer for is why I was wearing white shoes and a white t-shirt. Can't really explain that one, so your guess is as good as mine. Now the next step in this process was fitting the hard lid. Just putting it on alone wasn't quite enough. Just like any hood or door or any other panel, it has to be fit to the car. The hinges are actually pins that can slide out so the lid can be removed easily, so there's not much you can do there, but the hinges are adjustable. The other part you'll see me adjusting is the striker. There wasn't much to do there, it was mostly just the hinges, but you'll see me pulling the shocks on and off to get those just right. This took longer than I'd like to admit. Alright, finally back at it again. It's been, I don't know, month and a half since I've touched this car. But, as you can see, I've got a short block now. This is an L92 short block out of a Yukon, I believe. Not really much special about it. It's got a bunch of miles on it, so you can kind of see in here. It's really not bad. I'm going to pull these pistons out and look a little closer at the cross hatching. I'm going to clean all this up. It's covered in like metal dust, and there's grime all over. It's pretty filthy. So I'm going to clean it up. I'm going to check the cross hatching. I am going to pull at least one piston out and check the rings. The cam bearings are kind of shot. You can kind of see in here. They're a little rough. So I figure those and the main rod bearings are bad. So I've already ordered new bearings. I'm going to put those in next week. Ordered a couple other parts. But right now the project is basically just get this engine cleaned up and ready to build next week. So let's get to it. Alright, well, I lied. I'm not going to clean this block. I'm actually going to pull everything out and take this to get cleaned at the machine shop. Because, pull up the flashlight here. So, this here doesn't really look too bad. If you look over here, there's a bit of scoring there, a bit of scoring there, and otherwise it's pretty much a mirror polish on here, and you really don't want that. So I definitely want to pull the bottom end to at least dingle ball hone it. And if I'm going to do that, there's metal shavings all in this engine, and like I was saying earlier, it's absolutely coated in grease. I'm going to spend a really long time trying to get this cleaned up, or I can have it acid dipped, or aluminum cleaner dipped, whatever chemical they use, and he can check the decks for me and hone the cylinders properly. So I think I'm going to do that. So instead of cleaning this tonight, I'm just going to go through basically and pull everything out and make sure there's no major damage. So I guess that's what I'm doing next. Got the block all stripped down. Here's the rotating assembly here. Got all the pistons, the main caps, crank. These actually all look really good, these crank journals here. So I'm not gonna mess with the crank. It's fine, it's a little dirty, but block's pretty stripped now. Got all the bearings out. All the bearings actually look really good. You can kind of see some of them here. Of course they're dirty, but no major scoring, no hot spots, nothing like that. The rod bearings all look good as well. Pretty much the bottom end was immaculate, honestly. It really wasn't bad. So, didn't have much to worry about, but bearings are cheap and they're good insurance. So, next step, I need to flip it over, put a piston in it in a ring, check the ring distance. I'll check probably a couple of them, just because, why not? But I'm pretty sure I can reuse those. I did go ahead and pull the sensors out, so, yeah, let me get this flipped over for you. So, as you can see, the cylinder walls, they're not bad, they're just not great. You can see a little bit of cross hatching, but it's kind of just really smooth to the touch, which it's supposed to be, but not that smooth. You can kind of see some spots that are worn more than others. There's just some marking, and they really just don't look that great. They're not that bad. If it was just a rebuild just to get it back on the road, sure, but I plan on keeping this block for a long time and building a stroker in it eventually, so kind of want to just do it right. So I guess we'll get the rings measured and go from there. Alright, so essentially here's what we're doing. I'm going to pull the upper ring out very gently. Don't want to bend it or break it, of course. And once that's out, go ahead and set the piston down. We're going to wipe this off. Everything's pretty dirty. This engine was sitting in someone's shop and they were grinding near it. So there's just metal and everything, which is just wonderful. But alright. And I guess we'll check cylinder 2, because why not? So go ahead and clean up any junk that could be there. Essentially just gonna push this into the cylinder bore. Now what we're measuring is the gap here at the end. This has to be perfectly straight, so I'm going to take the piston, I'll go any jump, and we're going to push this in and use the second ring basically as a stop. So right there I know that's perfectly straight. That ring gap is exactly what it would be in the engine. So pull a feeler gauge out, and stock spec should be 15 thousandths or so on the upper ring, 15 thousandths. There we go. Slide that in, kind of feel for friction. Yeah, that's actually a little above that, it looks like. So let's try. '16's kind of loose. Oh. Yeah, 17's a little loose. Oh yeah, 18's tight. So somewhere between 17 and 18 thousandths seems like, I'd call that 18 thousandths. So I'm good with that. That's basically just opened up a tiny bit from stock. So that'll give us a little more leeway with a little more cylinder pressure and heat. I'm not going to boost it or shoot nitrous in it, so that'll be fine. I could check a bunch more, but they're all going to be within 3 thousandths of that, which is plenty fine. So, yep, I guess I just get to clean all these parts up now, put it all back together, and then take this to the machine shop, get her cleaned, get her honed. I'll have to take the deck surface just because, and yeah, go from there. Alright, so I know I didn't really explain what I was doing, it kind of just went right into a time lapse, but essentially I got the block back from the machine shop, I got the cam in, the plates on, I have the wrong cam gear so I gotta go pick one up tomorrow. That's the 4X, I've got a 1X there. I got the crank in, got all the bearings in, got the pistons in. I had to do the pistons pretty much 4 different times because I had them in either the wrong order or the wrong way around. Well, let's just say I've gotten really good with the piston ring compressor. But anyways, these are all torqued now, everything's sealed up. I've got these side bolts in with some silicone. Waiting on, like I said, that timing gear, but this is all on. Made sure to set this correctly. This is all torqued properly, followed the instructions, did all that. So once I get the cam gear, I can time it and do the oil pump and all that tomorrow. Right now, I'm gonna go home and eat dinner because I'm dying. When I get back, this is going over. I'm doing heads, lifters, and then some of the valve trim. I'm gonna measure for push rods also, but we'll see how far we get tonight. So, yep, be right back. Alright, it's about that time. I'm gonna go ahead and flash a tune here. So, got my MPVI hooked up. Got the battery on, got it on charge. This is pretty much run-of-the-mill stuff right here. Gonna hit right vehicle, show license options. It's gonna think for a second, and let's see, we got 2 credits here. So we're gonna go ahead and hit specific for this. Now it's gonna spend my $100. Yes, I'm sure. And then we're gonna hit right entire. Found out the hard way you've got to do that, not right calibration, or else certain things won't right. And actually I need to turn the vehicle on, so the way we got to do that, because I'm missing some fuses apparently, hold this down for a while. After a couple seconds it turns on. Now of course we're not running, but it just sets on essentially. So from there we can hit right, and then this should take a few minutes. It's going to basically erase what's on there, write the new stuff. We're getting all kinds of beeps and boops and service this is broken, that's broken. That's normal though. So here's the fun part. We're erasing. After a moment it should start writing. Now this is going to write the ECU first, and then it's going to switch to the TCU, which this car doesn't have. Which I just realized I paid a credit for a TCU that I don't have. Thanks, HP Tuners. But anyways, after a few minutes this will be done and we'll have a tune. I can log the startup and we'll send it back to the tuner and we'll go from there. Alright, so tune's in the car now. That's not actually 11.7 volts. I don't know why it reads that low, but I don't know. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and start recording this. So it's going to take a second. It's going to think about it. Go ahead and push the clutch down. While it thinks about it for a little while. There we go. So she should be recording now. There we go. Now we're going to start it and let it warm up. Alright, so recorded a log, got that here. Ran this up to full operating temp. It got to about 176, the fans kicked on, and it never really moved from 176. So I let it run for a little bit, gave it a few revs. Pretty much let it idle for a while. No sounds coming out of the engine, no misfires, no codes or anything. So shut it off. I'm going to email this off and hopefully get a new tune pretty soon. Hopefully my neighbors don't hate me because this thing is ungodly loud. I don't know if it comes across on video how loud this thing is. Probably not. But here's my exhaust system. Yeah, that's it. That's just straight header. So, pretty loud. Echoes out of this pretty bad. And of course you can't tell because it's pitch black. But there's people who live right there. So, I'm sure they're confused and upset. But that's alright. So, all in a day's work. So anyways, I'm going to email this off and go to bed. So, alright, get back to next day. Getting back to work on the Maloo. And starting off strong here because in South Mississippi, the only thing more important than getting a car running and driving is getting the AC charged. So, setting up the gauges right now, we're completely empty. I'm going to go ahead and draw out all the air in the system, and if it holds, I'll go get some Freon and charge it up. So, let's go and get that started. There we go. I'll let this run probably 15-20 minutes or so, just make sure it gets everything out possible, and I'll let it sit for a couple hours, make sure it holds. Actually pulling out really quick. These systems are really small. These take like a can and a half of Freon. It's like 16 ounces or something. It's not much. This actually might not take more than a few minutes, but I'll let it keep drawing out until it's completely empty and we'll go from there. Alright, so it's been a couple hours and this hasn't moved in the slightest, so it looks like the AC system's pretty good. I just need to get some Freon charged up. In that time, I was a little busy, as you can see. So that was the flywheel I had on this engine. Turns out, not the right one. So I actually overextended the slave cylinder, which it's back together now, but dumping fluid. Yeah, that was a big mistake. So I had the fun and joy of pulling this transmission again. So currently sitting on the trans jack. I've got the new flywheel on. So yeah, essentially the normal style flywheel for an LS3 is like this thick, and the one for the Chevy SS and all the Holdens is about that thick. So that overextended, popped out, dumped a bunch of brake fluid. So I got to order parts. A real fine fella named Bill Sutton actually hooked me up with this flywheel and this slave cylinder and some other stuff. Well, these are the old ones, but the new ones for like pretty much nothing, because this would have been $1,000 in parts, and he sold me all of it for like 25 bucks used. So certainly can't complain. So anyways, I've got to put that back in. My clutch alignment tool has evaporated. I don't know what happened to it. I used it like right here, and I think I handed it to someone to put away, and it's gone. I've torn the whole place apart, looked in every drawer, every closet, can't find it. It's gone. So I'm going to use the transmission itself as the input shaft, use the input shaft as the clutch alignment tool, and hopefully that'll work. If not, I'll get something 3D printed and we'll go from there. But yeah, gonna try to get this done and then I'm gonna go to bed. So, yep. It was around this time that I really started rushing the project because I was running out of time to get to the event I was trying to get to, which is out back in the Midwest. So there's a lot of footage I just didn't record. For example, the thing I said about using the input shaft as the alignment tool, that didn't work. I had to borrow an alignment tool from somebody else because nobody local had it in stock. So I borrowed one from a good friend of mine, actually my tuner, oddly enough, and I was able to get the transmission back into the car. I did end up charging up the AC. I don't think I ever recorded that, but you can imagine what charging AC looks like. So we're going to skip to the shot where I make sure the wheels actually turn. Back once again after doing a bunch of work off camera to tell you what I've done off camera. So I'm out of breath. Okay, oxygen sensors were wrong. I got the new sensors, got them wired in. They're correct now. Trans is in, drive shaft's in, exhaust is in, clutch is bled, car's on the ground. It's running right. It seems to be happy. Man, I'm out of breath. It's hot. It's like 90 something degrees here even at night. So anyways, it should move under its own power soon. I'm going to put it on the tripod and we're going to record hopefully its first couple feet of movement, and then we'll go from there. So let's see. As you can see, with the help of the fellas standing around, I got the hood on, the headlights in, got them wired up, made sure all the LEDs were the correct way around, and took the washer bottle out. I drove it home after this to wash it, but I don't think I got much footage, so here's a Snapchat video, I guess. That'll be it for this video. It's kind of been all over, so enjoy the rest of this, I suppose, and subscribe, hit the like button, or don't.